How do you feel being a social worker has impacted your life and career choices?
So I think all in all, I feel like it's just made me a better human, like a better human being, because I don't know, I feel like in all these different roles that I've had, I've dealt with so many different, like listening to so many different stories and played a minor role in so many different people's journeys, that I know I feel like I'm better for it because I can see the person, you know, and really get to understand the person and their journey and what they've been through, not see them for their behavior or their actions, you know what I mean? So I feel like I kind of apply that everywhere in my life. I feel like it's made me a better person in general. I don't judge people. I'm really careful with my opinions. Like I'm always like, if I see like behaviors or something like that, I go, you know, what's behind that? You know, always trying to understand what are the barriers and the hurdles that people have to get through, or that people are still facing before they can move on and make changes or things like that. So yeah, I just feel like it's really made me better. And in my career, I think I feel like I can find a job anywhere with the skills that I have and the experience that I have, and because of the kind of field that it is, this job will always exist. And there are so many different fields and roles that you can apply your skills to in social work, that I really feel like it's there's stability in it. Like you really go anywhere. And I know for me anyway, and a lot of people that I work with talk about this all the time, like our biggest goal as social workers is to work ourselves out of the job. You know, that's what we want to see in a perfect world. We don't want to see people that we need to help. We want people to be empowered and to be living their lives and be strong and everything like that. But obviously in reality, that's not really going to happen. As long as there is human beings, there's always going to be humans that need help. So it is one of those jobs. I think it's always going to be around. I think it's a really critical skill to have just for your own, just for yourself, just to be able to, even in your normal life, just be able to see people for what they are or for who they are, and to be able to understand people differently. But also in the work that you do, I think you can apply these things, these skills literally anywhere and everywhere.
Yeah. Even from reading the news and a general conversation at a barbecue is just stop and make people think, well, hang on, not everyone thinks the same way. Not everyone was raised the same way. Yeah.
Absolutely right.
Yeah. And I think, and I hope a lot of criminology students will get that same aspect on life as well. We need to think critically and we need to look at the background. Exactly what you just said. You've already lived an amazing life. Wow. How do your personal experiences as a First Nations person help you support other First Nations people?
Yeah, I think I can bring, being Aboriginal myself, I feel like I can bring something a bit more special to the table for our families, for the mob that we work with. And it's not just in the work I do directly with mob, but it's the work we do around them too. So, you know, I quite often, even now, even though I might not work directly with families, I still sit in for my staff on care teams or other meetings and stuff like that to advocate for that cultural lens to be applied in every single space. So, and when we've worked with families that, it's kind of hard, but when we've worked with families that have that history behind them, they have that intergenerational trauma, they've got systemic racism, they've got flat out racism, they've got discrimination, all that kind of stuff. I think it's so important that there is someone else that can understand and put that front and center and have people around them acknowledge that and to see that behind the person that's in front of them. And I think that's something that we do here where I work, being an Aboriginal agency. I think that's something we do that's very special. I also, as an Aboriginal person, I find it really, what's the word, kind of I don't know, really fulfilling, I think might be what I'm looking for, really fulfilling to work with our mob, with our culture, and be able to provide that connection to our families too. So I feel connected with every family that we work with. I feel that connection, and to be able to create that belonging for our families. And it's fulfilling for me as well to feel that belonging with our clients too, that we all share this really special thing together.
Yeah, that they're not alone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely right. And I'm just really big on advocating and making sure that other people that are working with families, like we don't have a whole lot of Aboriginal specific services. So quite often when we work with our clients, we might be the only Aboriginal specific service in there, and everyone else might be a mainstream service. So I find it so important to be front and centre in conversations with those other agencies, in those meetings, everything like that, and advocating that, like we need to understand the culture behind this person, we need to understand the history behind this person, we need to make sure we're doing things in a culturally appropriate way, we need to acknowledge all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of what I bring to it.
That's massive. That is a huge impact. Understanding that cultural aspect, that's incredible. And just, I'm going to sideline. I'm working at the moment on a policy that we have for offenders, and it is so important. We have ones for youth offenders and ones for Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander offenders. Like, it's just so important, and everything I'm reading is that we need to have that cultural understanding there before we sentence these offenders. We need to know that background. And I think it's where I'm going is that it's every aspect of their lives, not just offending and that sort of stuff. It's every aspect. Is we need to have that. We need to bring in that cultural understanding.
Absolutely right. Absolutely. It's not, it's never one size fits all in any scenario when we're working with people. But when we have Aboriginal people as well thrown into that, or even people with a different language background or anything like that, those considerations have to be made. It has to happen. And that's why, like, I'm so passionate about making sure our voices are very loud in those spaces to make sure that they happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's sad that it needs to be that way. It's sad that you need to jump and shout to make these things happen. But at least they have someone out there, standing up for them and speaking for them and advocating for them. For those who can't speak for themselves.
Yeah.